Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Nebraska coach Fred Hoiberg announced today that Iowa transfer Price Sanford has officially signed with the Nebraska men's basketball program. Sanford is a 6'7", 210-pound wing that spent the past 2 seasons at Iowa, playing in 65 games for the Hawkeyes, averaging 8.8 points and nearly 49% shooting. Hoiberg has stayed busy as 4 transfers have been announced since winning the crown on Sunday. Jamarcus Lawrence, a former Husker, announced his return on Tuesday after spending 1 year at Rhode Island. Will Cooper, an Omaha native who was at Air Force and averaged 5.5 points in his freshman season. Kendall Blue, a guard from St. Thomas who averaged 12.3 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 1 steal a game. And a big man, Ugnius Jerusidius from Central Michigan, who averaged 16 points and 7 rebounds and earned first-team All-MAC honors last year. High Point men's basketball coach Alan Huss is stepping down and will rejoin Greg McDermott's staff at Creighton, where he'll be named head coach in waiting, the Blue Jays announced today. Huss led High Point to an NCAA tournament berth this year and went 56-15 with his time at High Point. He was an assistant coach at Creighton for 6 seasons before going to High Point in 2023. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Coming up next is Hour 1 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
The Sejan behind the screen, dances around, hezzy move, pump fake, out it comes to Jacobson, puts it up and in! Holy smokes! Way to go, Cale Jacobson from Ashland, Nebraska. Into the starting lineup 3 games ago, hits a huge, humongous, gigundous 3. Bryce Williams, 3 dribbles, all Big Ten, All-American, free throw up, got the record. Bryce Williams, 709 points, single season scoring record, and Nebraska's up by 11 with 1:05 to go.
Ryan set, here's the 1-1. Riley swings and hits one through the left side, that's a base hit. Overbeek scores, here comes Sanderson. The throw is gonna come all the way home. Beating the throw is Case. It's a 2-run knock for Riley Silva. Nebraska back on top, 7-5.
The 0-1, Bland swings and drives it. Center field and deep and gone! Home run, Samantha Bland. She has the hat trick. 3 home runs today for Bland. 8-1 Huskers.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into Sports Nightly. Happy Thursday to you. It is great to be back. Had a little bit of a getaway. Got to go back to Oklahoma, see some family and friends, but I'm excited to be back. I only missed 1 show because we had some great softball and baseball on the air over the last few days, so didn't really miss much, I guess, airtime, but was nice to get away, but nice to be back, as it always is. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about both those sports coming up here in just a few minutes. Nick Hanley going to be here with us just this first segment here in the 6 o'clock hour because you got some sickness going on. But, hey, I appreciate you filling in for me on Monday.
Yes, no, it was we got through it. We had a national championship to talk about for men's college basketball, and then also getting ready for a baseball game that I wasn't sure which way that was going to go. And also doing the broadcast solo on Tuesday, it always makes you always feel like, okay, if you're going to be doing it solo, you're probably going to get one of those fun 4-hour games. But it was great. Good to be back in Lawrence to see their new, very interesting baseball venue now. I mean, the field and everything is the same, but now they have students involved. There's a lot of pre-gaming now by the students to go to baseball. They have the pep band there as well. That was one of the more unique environments I've seen in college baseball.
Huh, that's cool. Well,
Yeah.
we're going to cover a lot here over the next couple of hours because we've had a lot of news, a lot of things unfolded with Husker sports here over the last week or so. We're going to hear from Fred Hoiberg here this hour, just a few minutes. Juwan Gary had a chance to chat with him, the MVP of the Crown. We're going to have that one-on-one conversation and talk some Husker football coming up in hour number 2. Nyziah Hunter was available today. I got a chance to chat with him after practice, so we're going to bring you that conversation. And how about another national title, pursuit of another national title for Husker Bowling. That's a program around here that every year goes into the season expecting to bring home some hardware. And they're headed to the NCAA championships this weekend. So we're going to do a preview of that with Meghan Straub and dive into that. So lots to get to, lots of sports to cover. But I want to start with Husker softball because what a night for them. They win against Creighton, but they break this single-season home run record. They hit 3 bombs last night, and in the second inning, it was Sammy Bland that delivered that record-breaking home run. I said it, I think it was like Thursday night, I said, hey, we're on record-breaking watch going into the weekend. They had tied it, and then they sure enough get it. How fitting is it they get it at home against Creighton, but I mean, they still are number 2 in the nation in home runs and home runs per game. I mean, this is a team that can swing the bat, and we saw it last night.
Yeah, and this is the thing that for Rhonda Revelle, I think she knew with the addition that they had to the roster this past year, but also what they could also contribute with a healthy Jordy Ball in the lineup as well. And I think everybody always thinks about Jordy Ball as the dominant pitcher she is in the circle, but you also forget her time at Oklahoma, you weren't seeing the offense. Now this was one of the reasons she wanted to be part of Nebraska and be able to contribute in the batter's box as well in the circle and help this team out really in all phases. And she's hitting 441 right now. She's got 12 home runs. And it was kind of ironic that all of the players that got involved in that game against Creighton yesterday, Jordy Ball was one who didn't have a home run, yet she was dominant in the circle again. And I had to go back last night and start looking at her numbers. I knew that she was hitting at a pretty high clip, but at 441, then you've got right behind her Olivia DiNardo sitting there at 435, and she's got 5 home runs. But then Ava Kuzak, who's got 15 home runs. And so you're looking at these players that it's coming in just different spots in this lineup, and you start thinking about teams that are looking like a solid postseason team that could get on that run. Well, if you've got dominant pitching, which Nebraska has anytime 98 is in the circle, and her numbers on that side of it would back that up as well. But then you look at a 1 through 9 lineup that can hurt you in just about any phase, and Creighton saw that last night. I think you're starting to see this team look like, really, Jessica, the team that we thought Nebraska might have a year ago before Jordy got injured. Yeah,
and I think just starting to really figure some things out, too, with Jordy coming back. I mean, it just is a process to feel 100% and getting some other people going. And, it's funny because I was having this conversation over the weekend. My cousin Harley played softball at Kansas. She was a catcher. And we were talking about she stays up to date with everything going on. So we always talk everything going on in softball. And, she's got friends that played for Oklahoma. And I just said, I was reading those stats, those offensive numbers to her about Jordy. And I was like, it's crazy that she couldn't get into the lineup at OU. And she was like, that just shows you how good that Oklahoma was. And I also, too, think they like their pitchers now to just kind of focus on pitching. But so then that got us into the conversation. She said, you have no idea how daunting it was to pitch against Oklahoma when you can hit 1 through 9. There's no breaks. And now I feel like this is what this Nebraska team is showing they can be, how tough it is for opposing teams to face this lineup when they can hit 1 through. There's no off batters. Like, you better be bringing your best every single Husker that comes to the plate.
No doubt. And I think another number that folks should keep in mind here when we're talking about now the 79 home runs that this team has hit as a squad. They've got more home runs than they do doubles. And their doubles number's not bad. It's 73. But there's the extra base hit factor in this one, too, that I hear it all the time when talking to Will Bolt about the slugging percentage and how that is so effective, because then you can throw out a lot of crooked numbers at a team any given inning. And when you look at the double numbers at 73, where they're holding opponents to under 50, and then you look at the home run number at a whopping 79, where they're holding opponents to under 25, that's a big deal right there, too. And again, it's not just one player that just has monster numbers. They have 3 players that are hitting over 400, and then a couple of players that are knocking on that door of 400. So you have 5 to 6 players that are either above 400 or right around 400. I mean, those are insane offensive numbers.
So they're at Northwestern, big series coming up this weekend, and it's one of those Saturday, Sunday, Monday weekends, and all of those games are going to be on the Big Ten Network. Northwestern is at the top of the standings in the Big Ten, so this is a big weekend for the Huskers. It was a little crazy, though. Northwestern, even though they're top of the Big Ten, they had a tough start to the season, dropped several games and a number of those to highly ranked teams, but they're not in the top 25. They're not even receiving votes from what I could see. So, but still a big series in terms of, the standings in the Big Ten. And, you think they only have Indiana, Washington, and Maryland left after this weekend. Indiana, the next home series, and actually the last one. So your final chance, and I think tickets are very, very limited, but we're quickly approaching the end of the season, and this is a big weekend for them coming up this weekend.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, it's interesting when you bring up Northwestern, the way that their season has gone, that you go through, and this is a team that's been to the Women's College World Series, so it's a team that obviously is going to schedule to try to challenge themselves in the non-conference, and they did that, and sometimes that can come back and bite you a little bit. But what they've been able to do is take care of business in conference play, and we know, and we've seen it already, that addition to UCLA, amongst others, Oregon has had some good teams in the past too. Seeing USC in there in Washington as well. We know Washington has had some good teams. They've been in the Women's College World Series as well. So that addition has obviously bolstered this. You and I talked about this. But to see Northwestern being at the top despite those new additions, and I know they're not dominating right now. They're not at the top by 5 games, but they're right there where they're very familiar being here as of late. I think that tells you what the important factor, the emphasis for that Northwestern team is, being able to take care of business in conference play. It doesn't matter what you do sometimes in non-conference. You get off of those slow starts. You can get right in conference play, especially a conference like the Big Ten. That RPI, all of those different at-large opportunities, and obviously, if you put yourself in a position to get the automatic qualifier, either way, you're going to be in good position, not only to make the postseason, but to have success in the postseason as well. Yeah,
and maybe also have a favorable draw, which it's hard with the ball bat sports. They don't necessarily look at seeding, but maybe they can get a little bit of a path that allows for them to make a run. I did want to stick with the Diamond Sports and talk some Husker baseball, too, because you said it. What a great win against Kansas, and maybe didn't know what this team was going to look like, and you had told me, Kansas was a team, they were hot coming in. Yeah. What is it about this baseball team? It seems like they just really get up for the big ones.
Well, I think that goes to the experience of this team, and I think a lot of these guys that are juniors and seniors for this Nebraska baseball team have played enough of those top 25 teams, and teams like LSU, teams like Vanderbilt, and in some occasions for these guys multiple times that they've played Vanderbilt, now Oregon State. So you've seen a lot of those teams, and there's still some of those guys that have obviously last year when you saw Florida and Oklahoma State, even though they didn't play the Cowboys in the regional itself, you've been around and you've seen some high-level teams. And so I think they understand what it takes to compete with those types of teams. And so, you look at their record right now against top 25 teams, they're 4-2, and they had a shot to beat LSU. They could be 5-1. The only team that really handled them from start to finish would be UC Irvine in the season opener. So for what Nebraska has had that opportunity, I should say Oregon State when they were able to take care of business on that Saturday. But, really for a team that has had the opportunity that Nebraska's had to play those types of teams in the non-conference, I was talking to Will about this on Monday during the coaches show, and there's not anything a team at this point is going to throw at you that is going to overwhelm this group. It's just a matter of finding that consistency. That's what it's always been about with this baseball team, is finding that consistency, and they've got enough of a track record, and they've given you enough examples right now to show you that they can beat the very best of them. It's just a matter of, can they string games together? Can they string success together? And I think that's the objective this weekend, because you mentioned softball with a huge matchup against Northwestern sitting atop of the Big Ten standings. Iowa's basically a half a game behind UCLA in the Big Ten standings right now. So if you're looking at both ball bat sport teams in huge weekends on the road as well, there you go, because this Iowa team is no joke. This Iowa team, very similar to Kansas, they're slugging the baseball. First and foremost, it's their offensive numbers that jump off the page when you look at this Iowa team, much like when we were looking at Kansas that was coming in with a 9-game winning streak and a team that was hitting .311. This Iowa team is hitting .317, so very similar approach there. Nebraska needs to be able to take that type of momentum they had on Tuesday and winning that type of game where they really squeezed Kansas. They got Kansas in a type of game that I don't think they wanted to be in. Kansas wants to be in that game where it's 8+ runs. So if they can get Iowa into that similar situation, that'll be interesting, and it's going to come down to how impactful this pitching staff can be.
I have never been to an Iowa-Nebraska baseball game. How does that rivalry feel? Is it similar to some of the other sports?
It's funny you ask that, because the only time that I've done the Iowa-Nebraska game in Iowa City, I've done a few at home, was the COVID year. So it was only friends and family that were allowed to be in the ballpark. And Greg and I were actually doing the game from the ticket booth because they didn't have any use for the ticket booth. So we were sitting there down the left field line in a ticket booth that was angled towards the batter's box. And anytime a ball went past our eyesight, past basically medium depth left field, we had to swing the door open so we could see exactly what happened. It was kind of funny. But I think it's always a big deal. And I think there's a lot of mutual respect between the two programs. And I think between Will Bolt and Rick Heller. Rick Heller, who came from Northern Iowa before that baseball program got shut down. Northern Iowa had a really good, solid run. In fact, one of the regionals they played in Lincoln, the first year Nebraska made it to the College World Series. So, and he was a part of that Northern Iowa team. And then when they had eliminated baseball at Northern Iowa, he ends up winding back up at Iowa and being the only Division I baseball program in the state of Iowa. And they've done a good job of recruiting to that program. So it's a solid program. This power surge that they're on right now, though, is very interesting, because usually it's an Iowa team that'll be okay, respectable offensively, but usually they pitch it extremely well. It's not that they're bad pitching, but their offensive numbers have really stood out and have got them off to the start that they're at. They're a 21-10 team right now and sitting pretty good in the Big Ten at 12-3.
Okay, so I did want to, before we let you get out of here, we have to talk about Husker Hoops. They have done some work in the portal in addition to winning a title at the Crown, which we are going to hear from Fred Hoiberg. He touches on this a little bit, so you'll hear more, but another official addition today coming out, that Price Sanford, the transfer out of Iowa, which Coach said, they recruited very, very hard out of high school, but a 6'7" wing, had 2 seasons at Iowa, so we'll have 2 years of eligibility left, but averaged just under 9 points, nearly 50% field goal, over 40% from 3-point. And, I think the additions that they brought in, we saw the Will Cooper, the Nebraska kid, transferring from Air Force. Kendall Blue, who also, by the way, played AAU basketball with Emmett Johnson. And so he's out of St. Thomas, but a lefty that can shoot. So 6'6" shooter, lefty shooter, averaged over 12 points, 4 rebounds, had 83 assists. And again, a nearly 42% 3-point shooter there. And so I think the trend here is what I'm getting at, is you're getting some big players that can shoot the basketball, which I think was a big need for this team, which we talked about after the season. And then great to see Jamarcus Lawrence coming back. And Ugnes, I'm not even going to try to attempt his last name
Oogie.
as well. Oogie, yeah.
Oogie, they call him Oogie. All we got to do is call him Oogie. That's the best part of this whole edition is Oogie.
Oogie. Well, I can't wait for Kent to try to pronounce his entire name the first few times, but I even tried to write down 2 different pronunciations, so I had phonetical spellings, but can't get that. But going back to that trio of big shooters, I think was a big need and really going to fit with what what Coach Hoiberg is wanting to do moving forward.
I don't know about you, and I know you remember these teams when he had those Iowa State squads with George Niang and Matt Thomas and Naz Long. They just had shooters, and they had guys that could hurt you in so many different ways, and they never really had a dominant big man. And I think that when there was such this clamoring for Nebraska to have this dominant old school traditional big man that was going to hog up the paint. I understood why maybe that didn't always come natural to Fred Hoiberg, because he won despite not really having that. Every once in a while he'd have an offensive-minded big man, but having that eraser in the paint, that was never really something that was part of their better teams in Iowa State. But as you know, and that's the Big 12. Now you look at the Big 10, it obviously serves you well to have that. But the first thing I thought of when Fred was hired was, wow, that is going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be some good shooting. There's going to be some different pace and space type of offense. You're going to see multiple guys that are going to be above 40% shooting beyond the arc, and that's the type of offense you're going to see. Well, it hasn't really worked out that way. But we discussed this about Bryce Williams before you left, and that was, you're not going to find necessarily a Bryce Williams that can fill the type of offensive numbers that he could, and even do it in the style that Bryce did it without having to pay a lot of money. But what you can do is you can replace him with multiple bodies and multiple ways of scoring. The Price Sanford one I think is really interesting, and I don't know if people are making as big of a deal as they should, that you had all Iowa Hawkeye big brother Peyton Sanford that was, I mean, he bleeds black and gold. And for little brother to say, not only am I going to leave, and I understand with Fran McCaffrey being dismissed, that was a big factor, but for him to say, not only am I going to leave this school, but I'm going to go to a rival like Nebraska, that is one heck of a recruiting pitch there by Fred Hoiberg to get that type of a player and to get a guy that I would have thought had so many strong connections to that basketball program. The Jamarcus Lawrence part of this, too, is so fascinating. That how many times do you see in the transfer portal era that there is a bounce back from a guy who started at your program? I mean, whether we're talking about basketball or any sport, but there's a need there. And I think, as Fred said, it was a no-brainer for both parties. There's definitely a need there when you have a guy that was shooting, again, right around 40% beyond the three-point range. That is something that you want to have. So there are different guys that I think they've brought in here that can, obviously not going to be able to give you, one of those guys going to give you the same numbers that Bryce and even Juwan Gary, but you got multiple guys in different ways of scoring and also trying to create that depth on the bench as well. It's going to be really fascinating to see how it all comes together, but I think you saw exactly what you and I were alluding to, of finding different ways to replace that offensive production that you're going to miss from Juwan Gary and Bryce Williams.
You know, we had talked a lot about how there were not guys that entered the transfer portal for this program. I think it's cool that they stuck around to play in the Crown tournament, but Nick Jankowski and Gavin Griffiths both entered the portal. And I know that the program's not done adding. I think they're still going to look to add a couple pieces, but I did want to go back to the Jamarcus Lawrence piece, because I think that's going to be an important piece, because he's played with Rink, and Rink Mast is going to be the focal point, right, coming back. I mean, this is the guy that they're building. You're going to hear Coach Hoiberg talk about this. They showed film of Rink to a lot of these guys about how you can play off of him. But I think Jamarcus Lawrence, he's played with Rink. And I remember I had multiple conversations with him his last year about how much he grew and how much he enjoyed playing off of Rink, and just that, you know, because he had moved into the point guard role. I think he's going to play probably both, a little bit off the ball, maybe a little bit bringing the ball up. But he knows what that looks like, and I think that's a really important piece. And he knows the culture, which we've heard Coach Hoiberg say so many times here over the last few years, that once they started that transition with the Sam Griesel bunch and then the last couple of years, but what has worked culturally and inside that locker room. And Jamarcus was a part of that for 2 years, so he gets that part too. So I think that, you know, I didn't know at first, but once I sat back and thought about that, I'm like, that's a really good piece to get back that fits already, that you know fits with this program.
I think that's a great point. And I'll be honest, the culture part of it, I didn't even really think of until you just brought it up there. That's a great point, because remember when this culture really started to take its form to not only having a solid locker room where it's seemingly everyone's pulling in the right direction, but you started to see the success based on those results. And this goes all the way back, as you pointed out, to the Griesel and to the Derek Walker team, where you have guys that understand it's got to be about more than just the individual. And I know that sounds very kumbaya, very cliche, very coach speak. But I think in the sport of college basketball, in the era of the transfer portal, I think if you can find that, and you've got a group that legitimately wants to not only succeed for the team and obviously for themselves, but also for the school that they're representing, that's a kind of a rare thing these days. And I think that was something that Fred Hoiberg really kind of hit the lottery with. And I think a lot of it's Fred's doing, too. I think he understood that there was a formula that could work at Nebraska, even when you're not getting the elite scores or you don't maybe necessarily have the type of resources to get those elite players that, say, a Michigan State can get year in and year out or a Purdue can get year in and year out. But you can still compete with those guys, but there's got to be a way to do it. And so having Jamarcus Lawrence, that was part of this, what he could do offensively, what he could do on the floor, I think is definitely an important piece to this based on what Nebraska is searching for this year. But I think it's a great point about the culture part. And I think it's a great point about the rink mass part of it, too, because that is a guy that we continue to forget, not you and I, but I think as people start talking about the future for Nebraska, I think there's a lot of heavy emphasis on, well, you lose Juwan Gary, you lose Bryce Williams, and those are big losses, don't get me wrong. But what you add, your biggest, if we just pretend that you got him out of the transfer portal if you want to, but the biggest addition to this team is a healthy rink mass deciding he's coming back and he's going to play for Nebraska. That, to me, is the biggest addition out of everyone that they're getting right now. And then you've got nice complementary pieces around. So I think that the Jamarcus Lawrence part, to me, should be a solid fit. I don't think there's any chance that you're looking at him if there was some type of off-the-floor animosity on both sides, or if he was a problem at all, within that locker room. There's no way Fred would have even entertained that thought. I think the fact that, as he said, it was a no-brainer for both of them, I think goes to show you that not only is he someone that can help him on the floor, but he's going to fit into that culture that you speak of. I will say one person that I was disappointed, not necessarily that they transferred, because you could kind of see the writing on the wall really midway through the season, but a guy that when he came to Nebraska last year that I thought could do a lot of good things. I was excited about Gavin Griffiths.
Yeah. And
you saw him in spots with Rutgers. You're like, he's still young, his game's still developing, but there is some range there. The guy can shoot a little bit, but for whatever reason, he just wasn't able to take that next step forward. And so it didn't work out. I wish him the best because I think he can be a very good player. Unfortunately, it just didn't seem to be maybe a great fit.
All right, great stuff. We do have to get to a break. We talk so much, but quickly I'll let you your Masters pick.
I was hoping he'd get off to a better start, grind it a little bit, but I did say, you guys can confirm, I did say dark horse Justin Rose, who has had a solid round, obviously, but I did go with John Rahm. The fact that I didn't go with Scotty Scheffler is just kind of stupid on my part. He obviously had a great day at 4 under, but John Rahm, I'm hoping that he can kind of turn things around, but that's who I'm going with.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We actually made picks yesterday since we didn't have a show, so we're going to see how we all fare throughout the weekend. We'll talk more about it, obviously, on Monday, but I'll pass along the rest of the crew's picks coming up here later in this show. Hey, thanks for joining us here in the segment. Go take care of the family.
All right, sounds good.
And Nick Hanley joining us here on Sports Nightly. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Fred Hoiberg up next.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Well, following his team claiming the title in the Crown, the inaugural Crown tournament, and also all the busy work he and his staff have been doing to add additions from the transfer portal. Fred Hoiberg's been a very busy guy lately, but I had a chance to chat with him and dive into the performance in Vegas and also those additions that they have been able to haul in from the portal. Here's that conversation. Well, Coach, I know you've had a lot of successful teams in the postseason, but I got to imagine this group is up there with amongst the most proud that you've been of a group.
Yeah, I'm really proud of how we ended the season and, the guys that went out there, the way that they did it. And the first thing was how they stayed together as a team going into the postseason. Not a lot of teams can say that. Even NCAA tournament teams lost players to the portal, over the course of the tournament while it was still going on. So for our guys to stick together, I thought was a great sign. It speaks to the character of this group. I think it speaks a little bit to the culture that's in place, and it paid off. The guys went out there, and everybody that was on that floor made a positive impact on the team. And Cale Jacobson took full advantage of opportunity. Braxton Mia, I thought, gave us some really good minutes out there. Andrew Morgan, Aaron Eulis, guys that were kind of in and out and up and down with their minutes. And that's what it's all about. And you have to have everybody if you want to end up on top of a tournament format like we just played in.
I know teams are different and years are different, but this experience, the guys that had this experience, can it be a positive thing moving forward for this program?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I look at is the exposure that we had. And when you look at the numbers from Fox, there was a lot of viewership in this tournament. And, certainly when we're out there doing Zoom calls, which we did a lot of when we weren't on the practice court during a film session, a lot of times we were on a Zoom call with a potential recruit or a transfer to come in and help us out next year. And we talked a lot about what was going on, and they all watched it. And we played really good basketball on both ends of the floor. And I do think that helped get a couple of our guys over the top.
And apparently you guys are one of the top teams on social media, even with the Final Four teams over the weekend. So it seemed like a lot of people were invested and cared about what Nebraska was doing out there in Vegas.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. And, when believe me, I had so many messages, as many almost as when we made the NCAA tournament last year. So it is. When you look at the, Nebraska postseason history, there's a banner for the NIT in PBA. Now, obviously, we have high aspirations and expectations for our program is to win in the NCAA tournament and do that consistently. But this is pretty special. There's not many teams that get to say that they went out with a win.
I know Juwan Gary is a guy that means a lot to you. He just told me his favorite thing about the whole experience was seeing you smile the way you were after that championship. How special was it for you to see him perform the way he did and go out with an MVP?
I just, he's one of my favorites that I've ever had the opportunity to coach. And when I've seen the growth of Juwan from when he got to us 3 years ago to where he is now and being able to go out on top. And, when he got hit in the head, I was a little bit concerned. But when he came back in, he maybe played his best stretch in a Husker uniform those last 15 minutes of the game. And, he's just he's going to go down, I think, as a lot of people's, up there with one of their favorites to wear a Husker uniform. And the thing I love is, he's really embraced it here. And when he says, Nebraska's home for me now, that's pretty special.
All right, you had mentioned Cale. Juwan also mentioned Cale, said he's the real MVP, but how great is that story for someone like him to get that opportunity and make the most of it?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's why you work. That's why you put long hours in the gym, and that's what he has done all season. And it came all the way down to the end before he got that consistent opportunity, and I had to have him on the floor. And when you look at that three that he hit against Central Florida and the floater that he made on the lane when Bryce got his fourth foul, those were huge baskets to get that thing up around 10, and then we were able to hold him off. But he just did a little bit of everything for us, and he knows the system, and he knows all 5 spots on the floor. So to take advantage of it, that means a lot. And again, it shows. And I guess our message of stay ready. You never know when your time is going to come. That certainly came true with Cale.
I know we'll have a chance to really dive into all the new additions, but how do you it was a balance between playing in a tournament and getting some guys in the transfer portal, which you said was going to be a big emphasis. How do you like the way that this group is coming together?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the players that have signed with us, starting with Price Sanford. He's a guy that we went after hard. The first go around, he was our number one player on our board when he ended up making the decision to go to Iowa. And when he went into the portal, we jumped on it right away. And, I've had a pretty good history with the Sanford family going all the way back to camps that I ran when I was at Iowa State, where the boys, would come to our rec center in Ames. And, I got to know the parents. The grandfather was a coach at Roosevelt High School, and I was playing in high school. So, I've known them for a long time. So to bring a guy that I think is as good a shooter as anybody in the portal was huge for us, because we've talked a lot about that. We need to be a better shooting team next year. I'm excited about Jamarcus coming back, and certainly a guy that can play multiple positions. and played point for us. We're going to need help in our backcourt with that, and he knows everything about the ins and outs, the offense, the defense, the system, what it looks like, the culture. Playing with Rink, was huge for everybody, I think, and we showed Rink a lot when we were going through our Zoom calls. Oogie gives us great depth in our front court, a guy certainly that's going to compete, every time he's on the floor. Talked to a lot of people in that league that I trust, and, they said there's no doubt about it, he can play at a high level in our league. So, just a great pickup, a guy that can shoot it and play, make, and score on the block. And then Will Cooper was a good addition for us as well, local kid from Omaha. Made 7 threes in a game last year at Air Force, and another guy that can really space the court. So, still looking to add a couple more, and hopefully we'll hear on that here in the next few days.
It's going to get some sleep now?
I'm going to try. But, we got a Zoom call at 10 o'clock tonight. So, you just never know when those times come, and you just got to do the best job you can to sell your program. Certainly
probably helps that you're coming off a championship that you can sell it.
It is, yeah. And, I think you can hear it in my voice. This always happens to me at the end of the year where I get a little under the weather. But, it's been a lot of work. And, again, I'm happy that the season ended the way it did as opposed to stopping after that last game against Iowa. So just proud of the guys.
Last thing, just the way that Husker Nation showed up for you guys. I mean, Juwan said you guys could feel it there. You had the support there in Vegas.
I promise you they had a huge impact on that win. When we got down 14, 14-0 run, they were so as responsible as anything. I think you could see it on the feed. When we made that, whatever it was, 52-17 run to end that game, or 42-17 run, they were as instrumental as anybody. They were the energy in that building, and it was 95% Husker fans. So, it was fun to share it with them, and they all stuck around for the ceremony after the game. So pretty cool.
Coach, thanks for your time. Congratulations again.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica.
Always enjoyed chatting with the head basketball coach, Fred Hoiberg. We got to step aside for a break. We went a little bit long with Nick there in the first segment, so we're going to get to a break. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. 402-413-2400 is that number if you want to be a part of the show tonight. We're back with more coming up after this.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir. Toyota trucks. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
No need to hunt around for friendly service, low prices, quality products, and great experiences. You'll find it all with the local experts, Sapp Brothers Petroleum. If you're tired of tracking down another late delivery, it's time to consider Sapp Brothers, where we pride ourselves on delivering products on time or even ahead of schedule, with your safety our top priority. Switching is easy. Just shoot us an email or give us a call. And right now, when you contact Sapp Brothers for any of your fuel, propane, or lubricant needs, you'll be entered to win a guided pheasant hunt next fall. Visit sapbros.net/Huskers.
Hey Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. You heard me tell Coach Hoiberg there, mention about the social media. I got the numbers on this. It's crazy and really impressive. So during the whole week last week, over the last, I guess it's, the final 4 weeks. So you had the NCAA Final Four, and then you had the Crown tournament going. And Nebraska was number 4 in the nation in impressions and engagements on all of social media. So they were right there with those Final Four teams, and in fact beat Houston in the engagements that they were getting on social media. So Duke, Florida, Auburn, and then Nebraska. Not surprising, I know. I mean, it's what happens with the Huskers, but it's big and it's important for the exposure of the program. And you know, I had a comment on the chat about. Got to think that it helped Coach Hoiberg in recruiting, and he said that. He said he was able to have some conversations with some guys. They were Zooming and had Vegas, whatever. They were in the gym or in Vegas, and so, you know, I think the exposure that they were able to get from being in that tournament on social media, on Fox, which I think I saw the initial reports from the, you know, the viewership from the games there is pretty solid. So I would imagine it'll keep growing and they'll bring it back. And I think it was worth it for Fox to do it. So I think I enjoyed it. I personally enjoyed it. I thought it was fun having that basketball to watch when the NCAA tournament wasn't on. So my dad made an interesting point. He said, how funny would it be if they keep raising the NIL pot if teams opt out of playing in the NCAA tournament to go play in the Crown? Be kind of funny there, but no, I mean, you heard, or you're going to hear Juwan say that, and Coach Hoiberg just said it. Ultimately, the goal is going to be back to the NCAA tournament, but they made the most of that opportunity. I think it was great exposure for Nebraska and really cool that they really had a lot of people paying attention on social media as well. I talked to Sam Rice, who's one of the guys in charge with the Corn Crib, who produces all that content. He wanted me to make sure and give Drew Sokup a big shout out for the coverage that you saw of the Huskers there in Vegas. And if you haven't watched the recap of the run to the tournament championship, go watch it. It's out now on the social media platforms. It is excellent and very well done. All right, got to get to a break. We're back to wrap up hour one next.
Your next vehicle is waiting for you at Woodhouse. With over 20 locations and a variety of brands, Woodhouse offers everything from reliable trucks to family-friendly SUVs. Whether you're looking for a Nissan, Mazda, or Infiniti, our team is here to help you find the perfect fit. Enjoy a seamless car buying experience with our expert staff and exceptional service. Visit Woodhouse today, where quality, selection, and customer satisfaction come first. Or get started online at woodhouse.com.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
This season, give your soybeans the upgraded protection they deserve. With CVA Elite Fungicide Insecticide Seed Treatment plus Saltro, you'll get stronger above and below ground vigor and enhanced SDS protection, helping you maximize ROI. Talk your Central Valley Ag Field Sales Agronomist or visit cvacoop.com today. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
This season, give your soybeans the upgraded protection they deserve. With CVA Elite Fungicide Insecticide Seed Treatment plus Saltro, you'll get stronger above and below ground vigor and enhanced SDS protection, helping you maximize ROI. Talk to your Central Valley Ag Field Sales Agronomist or visit cvacoop.com today. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Just got about a minute left here of hour number one. We have talked a lot about the news that's coming and surrounding the Nebraska men's basketball transfer portal and the additions there. No news right now with the women's program. They have not had a single player enter the portal, which is great and obviously speaks to the culture here. And with a lot of great pieces coming back. So off of a really good season despite the injuries. But I do know that they are also active in the portal and have put out a couple offers there. It just seems like the women's basketball portal news is moving a little bit slower than what the men's has here over this last week. But we will obviously stay tuned for that, and I will pass along any information as I get that. We got a big hour two coming up. We're going to hear from the MVP, Juwan Gary. We're going to hear from Nyziah Hunter, the wide receiver addition this year. And so lots to come. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Nebraska head coach Fred Hoiberg announced Thursday that Iowa transfer Bryce Sanford has officially signed with the Nebraska men's basketball program. Sanford, a 6'7", 210-pound wing, has spent the past 2 seasons at Iowa, playing in 65 games for the Hawkeyes, averaging 8.8 points and nearly 49% shooting percentage. Hoiberg has stayed busy as 4 transfers have been announced since winning the crown on Sunday. Jamarcus Lawrence, a former Husker, announced his return on Tuesday after spending 1 year at Rhode Island. Will Cooper, an Omaha native who was at Air Force and averaged 5.5 points in his freshman season. Kendall Blue, a guard from St. Thomas who averaged 12.3 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 1 steal a game. And a big man, Ugnius Jarusevius from Central Michigan, who averaged 16 points and 7 rebounds and earned first-team All-MAC honors last year. High Point men's basketball coach Alan Huss is stepping down and will rejoin Greg McDermott's staff at Creighton, where he'll be named head coach in waiting. Huss led High Point to an NCAA tournament berth this year and went 56-15 with his time at High Point. He was an assistant coach at Creighton for 6 seasons before going to High Point in 2023. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
The siege and behind the screen, dances around, hezzy move, pump fake, out it comes to Jacobson, puts it up and in! Holy smokes! Way to go, Cale Jacobson from Ashland, Nebraska. Into the starting lineup 3 games ago, hits a huge, humongous, gigundous 3. Bryce Williams, 3 dribbles, all Big Ten, All-American, free throw up, got the record. Bryce Williams, 709 points, single season scoring record, and Nebraska's up by 11 with 1:05 to go.
Ryan's set, here's the 1-1. Riley swings and hits one through the left side, that's a base hit. Overbeek scores, here comes Sanderson. The throw is gonna come all the way home. Beating the throw is Case. It's a 2-run knock for Riley Silva. Nebraska back on top, 7-5.
The 0-1, Bland swings and drives it. Center field and deep and gone! Home run, Samantha Bland. She has the hat trick. 3 home runs today for Bland. 8-1 Huskers.
Now, here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back, Hour 2 of Sports Nightly on this Thursday evening, our final show of the week. I've only had 2 this week, and I wasn't here on Monday, so I'm like, what is going on? It just, my day's off. It doesn't feel like Thursday, but we'll be on the air tomorrow night with Husker baseball, and we talked earlier about Nebraska softball hitting the road. Big series for them as well at Northwestern. Nate Rohr will have all the action for the Huskers app and on Huskers.com. It's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday series for that one. But some little bit of breaking news over the last few minutes. Former Husker linebacker Mekhi Bayer is back in the transfer portal. He entered the portal following the end of the season last year, transferred to Missouri, and it is reports coming out that he is back in the portal. So no information there. That's all I know. Just seeing it on the social media feed, but kind of interesting there that he went in the portal and back in already. Don't know if he might be having conversations with Tony White, maybe heading to Florida State. Who knows? But a little bit of other transfer portal news. We had some suggestions or some requests to announce the winner of the NCAA Bracket Challenge for Sports Nightly. Congratulations to Dr. Pitts, who took home the title this year on the Sports Nightly Bracket Challenge. Camden Cone finished 2nd this year. So another impressive intern performance, but they did not win. So that was good. That's all I asked was let's beat the interns. Don't even know where I finished. It was way down the list. Okay, so football was available today, another media availability as spring football rolls on. I had a chance to chat with Nyziah Hunter, the transfer from Cal. He had 2 seasons at Cal, redshirted his first year, but last year played in 12 games, got 40 passes for 578 yards, 5 touchdowns, and, has been a great fit. We heard Coach Holgerson also met with the media today. He really bragged on him and, just how he's fit in and the weapon that he's going to be able to be for this Husker offense. So I had a chance to chat with Nyziah after practice today. Okay, well, how are you settling into Lincoln?
I'm doing very good. It's a very slow process, but moving here from California is it's a good feeling out here. So I feel welcomed by the coaches, Coach Rule, my coach, Coach Short. So it's a great feeling being out here.
Okay, well, let's go back to your decision to come here. When you entered the portal, what went into that? What were you looking for at your next place?
Yeah, I was just looking for a big crowd environment. Nebraska has the best fan base, so I was just looking to show my skills in front of everybody and just live that moment.
So then how did you go about, settling in with the new program, getting known in the locker room and building those relationships when you first got here?
Yeah, I just really had to get to know everybody very slowly. Like, I'm not a person just to go up to people, but coming here made me want to do that and just getting to know people, getting to know my teammates and getting to know the coaches. So it was a good process.
So then you're obviously a guy that has college football experience. So what were you trying to do to build on going into this spring football?
Really just getting the ball more and just showing my skills even more. I would say just coming here, just trying to get more explosive plays with Dylan and just showing that I can just ball. So that's the reason why I came here too.
How is the relationship with Dylan? It seems like you guys are clicking pretty good already.
Yeah, Dylan's a great guy. As soon as I hit the portal, he was like the first guy to hit me. So I feel like our relationship is very tight right now, and we got to keep making it tighter. So that's pretty much it between me and Dylan.
Can you just give us, for fans, your perspective of him and what he's like, being able to build those relationships beyond just what you guys do on the practice field, but what you do outside of that?
Yeah, Dylan he's a great guy. He's also a great leader. He's the first one here every day in the locker room, so you can tell about his character. He builds relationships with everybody, the coaches, players, even the staff members. So I feel like Dylan is a great leader on and off the field, and that's what you need as a quarterback.
All right, let's start with some of the coaches. How excited were you to join an offense that Dana Holgerson, as a wide receiver, I mean, that's an ideal dream type of offense, right, under Coach Holgerson?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. It's a great experience. He likes to throw the ball, and that's what I'm here for, to catch the football and score a touchdown. So being a part of Dana's offense is really a blessing, and I'm very grateful to be a part of his offense.
Was that something you looked into? I mean, obviously, when you made that decision to come here, just what a wide receiver can do in his offense?
Yes, that was the main thing I looked into. But the main thing I looked into was Dylan, really, just having a good quarterback and knowing he's coming back for another season. So that's really the main thing I looked into. But Dana's offense is a great offense, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Okay, tell us about Coach Shorts. You mentioned him. How is he to work with? What are you learning from him?
Coach Shorts, he's great. He's amazing. Like, I can really lean on to him. I can tell him anything. He's one of us. He's like a receiver. He's young. He knows everything. He knows what we got to do. He makes sure we get here on time, and he's just a great leader, and he wants the best for everybody in his room. So that's the reason why I came to be a part of Coach Shorts' room.
There's a couple pictures that were posted. It looks like he's not afraid to get out there and get physical with you guys.
Yeah, that's it. That's his mentality. He's always just aggressive, but that's just how he is, and that's what Dana wants in our room. So that's a great thing.
With this offense, and just it seems like there's going to be multiple guys that Dylan's going to be able to get involved. How important is that to have multiple receivers that can be a part of this offense and make an impact?
Yeah, that's very important. So you just don't want one guy, one stud on one side. If you have a lot of studs, like a lot of good receivers on both sides, that's even greater for Dylan to make good decisions. So having a lot of weapons on the outside and inside receivers is very, very good.
Well, how do you feel about the progress just of the offense, of you personally settling into everything so far throughout spring football?
Yeah, I'm just getting comfortable, getting the flow with the offense, because I'm coming from a whole different offense. So just getting comfortable with Dylan, the quarterbacks, timing, and then everything with Dana and our receivers. But just getting comfortable, and that's pretty much it.
What does that process look like when you are a wide receiver learning a totally different offense.
Yeah, it's you just gotta lock in and just be focused on every detail and just understand that everything's not gonna happen the first day. You just gotta learn the process, learn the offense, and just do what you gotta do.
Are you a guy that likes the study of the game?
Yeah, I study our playbook all the time, so that's my motto.
Well, I guess what needs to happen for you guys to close out spring football on a high note, now that you're, halfway through this thing?
We just got to keep stacking days and getting better every day, and just as an offensive unit, we just got to get better and just score more touchdowns.
You said it's one of the biggest things, the fan base. How excited are you to be in front of Husker Nation for the first time here in a couple weeks for the Husker games?
I'm very excited. Can't wait to see everybody and just be amazed about how big that stadium is and see that stadium full. I just cannot wait.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Lincoln.
Thank you so much.
Kid, that is Nyziah Hunter, who is absolutely going to be a factor in this offense. Several of the wide receivers. I feel like that's probably been one of the biggest storylines, the things we've heard. Maybe the topic we've heard the most over the last few weeks is just the talent and depth in the wide receiver room with the guys you have coming back and like a Ja'Cory Barney, but then the additions that they've made with the Dane Key and Isaiah, and then the freshman. Coach Holgerson was very, very complimentary of the freshmen, Isaiah Mosey and Cortez Mills, and said they are going to contribute this fall. So lots of options there in that wide receiver room to spread the ball around to. And, just talking with a few of them, they seem like a lot of guys that are happy for the ball to be spread around. And a lot of times as a wide receiver, it's like, get me mine. But I feel like it's a group, and credit to Coach Shorts and the mentality that he is establishing in that room is that, no, we are going to do it as a group. We're going to have a lot of guys that are going to be involved and have their opportunity. So I'm excited to see more of that group, but I think there's a lot of guys competing for some playing time. And again, the competition with the defensive backs, because that's another group that has a lot of players. So we have had a couple questions on the chat, and I know I've been asked just outside of this, just talking with some folks about the Husker games. We had Haven Fields on the last athletic director show that we had here on Sports Nightly. We are going to have him back on. Some more things have been confirmed. More people that are going to be involved have also been confirmed. A lot of people have been putting a lot of work into this, and I know it's going to be a fun day. I know there hadn't been a lot of, details as far as what the actual Husker games is going to look like, but I can tell you it's going to be really, really fun. A lot of exciting things happening. I think it's going to be, I'm excited about it. They're going to involve a lot of different people and, I think just a really entertaining day. But we are going to have Haven back on next week. He didn't have a lot of time to really dive into it, but there's the two team captains, as he mentioned, that are going to be a part, Jay Foreman, Will Compton, and then they're basically going to be competing with a bunch of different competitions, and then one team is going to win at the end. There will be some type of like a 7-on-7 competition that you can see with the team, and then there's going to be a Legends / Hall of Famers game, and that's what I was joking about with Damon, and have been joking about Damon, that David Benning says he's going to maybe try to play in that. So I think that's the plan right now. And so it's going to be fun to see some of those guys back out inside Memorial Stadium. And again, we have to make sure, but right now it's looking like, and I feel like I'm okay to announce this, that when Damon goes to play football, we're going to have a fill-in, right, to take over in the analyst role for us during our broadcast. And as of today, and hopefully barring any crazy changes happening, Emmett Johnson is going to be the guy that's going to step in for us and help us out during that portion of the competition. And so Emmett wants to get into broadcasting maybe one day when his NFL career is done. I remember talking to him about that back on his signing day. So we're hopefully going to be able to give him an opportunity to be able to experiment with that. Should be a lot of fun. But we're getting more names of the guys that are going to be involved, and then some other competitions that are going to, happen throughout the day. We've heard the media competition. There's going to be some stuff there, some students involved. So there's lots of fun things that are going to happen throughout the course. It's going to be, I think, a fast and furious 2 hours, but lots of fun stuff. And we'll talk to Haven and get a lot of that more of that information coming out. I think there's a limited number of tickets left if you want to be a part of the Osborne Legacy Complex Tour. So that's kind of the availability there is dwindling. So if you want to get in on that, I would jump on that. And of course, the Husker sale I think is going to be great, and lots of food trucks as we talked about as well. So lots of fun things surrounding it. And another question that I've gotten a lot over the last couple of weeks since we announced that there was not going to be an actual game was, can you still tailgate? And we also talked about that last week with Troy and Haven. You absolutely can tailgate and, spend the day here and then, of course, go watch soccer and volleyball. So make it a day here at the Husker games. All right, we got to get to a break. Coming up on the other side of this, we're going to hear from the MVP, Juwan Gary, following his performance in the Crown Tournament. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing available across a full lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs. Employee pricing. You pay what we pay. Only from your local Ford dealer.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Your next vehicle is waiting for you at Woodhouse. With over 20 locations and a variety of brands, Woodhouse offers everything from reliable trucks to family-friendly SUVs. Whether you're looking for a Nissan, Mazda, or Infiniti, our team is here to help you find the perfect fit. Enjoy a seamless car buying experience with our expert staff and exceptional service. Visit Woodhouse today, where quality, selection, and customer satisfaction come first. Or get started online at woodhouse.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Hey Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Well, yesterday I had a chance to catch up with Juwan. Gary was the MVP of the Crown Tournament, was also obviously on the all-tournament team as well, 5-member all-tournament team along with Bryce Williams. And, you know, when they were trailing there in the second half to UCF, Juwan was scored 9 points in that 11-0 run. He just makes huge defensive stops, and it's just been a really important part of this program for, 3 years now, and coming off by far his best offensive season of his entire career. He had 20 points, 8 rebounds in that championship game, but averaged 19 points, 8 rebounds, nearly 2 steals a game in the 4 games out there in Vegas. So I had a chance to chat with Juwan and what the whole experience was like playing in the Crown. All right, here with the MVP of the Crown Tournament, Juwan. Gary, how much fun were you having hooping in Vegas over the last week?
A lot of fun. You know, first time in Vegas, but it was more than just being out in Vegas. It was just playing with the team for one last time. You know, this special group of guys, like a lot of people had a lot of expectations for us to have a better season than we had last year, but it didn't happen that year. This year, for sure, you know, not making to March Madness was a big thing for me, but just have the opportunity to go out there and play with this team again. Like, it was fun to see guys actually overcome a lot of adversity, like Kel, Aaron, Andrew. You know, a lot of guys that didn't play this season for sure stepped up a lot. Like I tell everybody to this day, Kel is my MVP, so Kel want this. If Kel want the ball, Kel, you can have it for sure. Like, no doubt about it. But just being out of Vegas for a week really show, like, who we capable of. Like, now we got momentum going to next year. Like, I can't wait to see the group of guys coming here next year and be impactful about this Crown Championship we just won, and just want to be better. Like, for sure, just want to go out next season and try to make that March Madness tournament and try to make that run, because we capable of doing it. But, you know, how hard do we want it for sure?
When we talked to Bryce before you guys went out there, got a sense that this team really wanted to go do something special out there. What kind of mission did this group go on to maybe, you know, bring home another trophy?
Shoot, cut them nets down. Man, I know it's not the biggest thing out there. It's the first time Crown basketball tournament has been, you know, event and stuff like that. And to be able to say we the first ever to win that championship, that's always going to be rememberable for a lot of things, for sure. Like, down the line, next year is going to be the exact same tournament. We're going to be the first person to ever come up, like Nebraska Huskers won this tournament for the first time. So it means a lot, you know, just to go out there, not having a huge fan base, but shout out to all the Husker Nation who came out there and showed mass support. I feel like I was in PBA again in Vegas for the amount of people that was out there cheering for us. But just going out there just to play basketball. Like, you know, we didn't want to sit down the whole month of March just to watch, you know, NCAA basketball. Like, nah, I wanted to play basketball. You know how boring it is to sit home as a basketball player and not hoop. Like, no, that wasn't it. So I'm still shocked to this day. I'm still shocked we won. So sorry for my mixed up words, but the only thing I wanted to do, I just want to do it for Fred. I wanted to see Fred. So, like, Fred smiling was my highlight of the whole Vegas trip. Like, him cutting down that nets, him seeing the smile. Like, to me, this is my national championship for sure. And I'm very proud of the guys. I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very proud of just the whole Husker Nation for sure.
Your highlight wasn't putting Seamus in the crown with the crown on top of his head?
Shout out to Seamus. Seamus, you the real king for sure. Nah, man, Seamus, man, that's my guy for sure.
I gotta agree. Okay, well, just this, having the opportunity to play in the crown, what can you say about just the tournament, the NIL opportunities that came along with it, the way that they put it on? It just seemed like it was really well done, and all the teams were having a lot of fun playing in that tournament. To have that kind of opportunity, how special was that?
That for the first time, it was. I want to give a shout out to the Crown Invitational people. Like, they did a wonderful job just to put that tournament together. Like, it was well ran, like very fun. Like you said, every team that was there had a great time just to be out there in Vegas. But the NIL thing, like, everybody keep asking, like, was that the main focus? I said no. I'm like, of course, it's like a cherry on the top. But in the day, we just want to go play basketball. We just want to win a championship. Like, winning a championship means a lot. I'm pretty sure not to me, but to a lot of the players for sure. So. But this thing, how the NIL things, like, NIL is taking over college basketball, and it's a beneficial thing because now people can take care of their family at a young age. Like, I'm 24-year-old, and I'm legit could take care of my mom, my sister, my dad, stuff like that now. So playing tournaments like this, of course, is not the biggest thing in the world as of right now, but what more can you ask for but a championship, a check at the end, and yourself, your MVP for sure. So it was a great tournament. And if I was in college again, I'd go back for sure. I would definitely go back.
What kind of goal did you have for yourself? I mean, you did so many things like we've seen you do, but how did you want to leave, I guess, your last few games in a Husker uniform? What kind of goals did you have playing out there in this tournament?
As anyone knows, my last game in Nebraska, I was very emotional. Fouling out, losing at the exact same time. So I wanted to flip the script. I wanted to actually, like, be happy my last game. Like, I'm still shocked that I even won the MVP. I thought, Bryce being a stellar player all year, if you ever seen the video, I was just looking for him. I don't think he's going to win for sure. So, but, win that MVP, but just win that trophy, just everything I've just been blessed for. I pray every day to where I'm just going to let everything happen the way it's supposed to be happening, stuff like that. But my goal was just go out there and win. I didn't want to go home. First of all, being in Vegas for the first time, did not want to go home the first day at all. So that was the goal for me. And I just wanted to give guys confidence into next year. Why not give momentum to next year to where coach could look at me like, maybe just won a championship. What's the point of turning back now? So definitely proud of myself, but I can't do anything out without this team at all. Can't do anything.
There was this really special moment between you and Bryce after the game. What were the emotions? What were you feeling in that moment when you just shared that long embrace with him, with everything I know you guys have been through together here in Nebraska?
Only thing I said was thank you. Like, that's the person that I could call legit my brother. Like, being from North Carolina, South Carolina, like, we kind of the same type of person. Like, we got the same type of tendency and stuff like that. And the only thing I could have asked for was a teammate, who's a stellar basketball player. Like, Bryce is probably one of the talented players that came through this program for sure, but definitely one of the best players I ever had, played with for sure. But that's the only thing I just said was thank you. Like, I couldn't do anything this year without Bryce, without the brotherly love, like the tough love. Like, it used to be times Bryce yelling at me when I got 2 fouls in the first half. He yelling at me. I'm like, I got you. So it's like, it's no point in me even reacting because I know where he coming from for sure. But I'm glad me and Bryce decided to come back. We knew we had a lot left on the table, but we knew we had to leave this legacy with a smile on our face for sure.
Just got a couple more for you, but your game, how much it grew, we really saw it. I mean, I feel like if people doubted what Coach Hoiberg can do on the offensive side of the ball, you're proof of that. Came in just a defender, a rebounder, but now you're a scorer too. How would you describe that and what he was able to do to help you maximize your potential on the offensive end?
Just the confidence. Like, if anyone ever, never watched Fred Hoiberg coach, he's one of the most laid back, most truthful, most respectful, most loved coach I ever played with, I think, in the country. Like, his coaching boosts up your confidence. Like, there's nothing more to it. As you can see last year or the year before that, Casey, like, even though we knew Casey was the most dynamic shooter ever that came through college basketball, it was the confidence that Fred gave him. Like, we knew Casey could score, but if Fred got confidence in you, he gonna let you play basketball. And that's what Fred gave to me. Like, I knew I was a defensive stopper. I knew I was a hard player in the day, but I also knew I could score the basketball. So when that confidence kicked in, and that's another reason why I say I think Bryce, because Bryce gave me that confidence too this year. Like, we knew he had to score for sure throughout the year, but he couldn't score 60 points by himself. We knew he couldn't do that for sure. So he always just looked at me as another step up for sure. But it was just within the game. I wasn't trying to do anything special. Like I know I'm not the best shooter. I know I'm not the best, all-time scorer out there. But in the day, I could put the basketball in the hoop. So just the confidence thing, and that's all I'm be grateful for Fred for sure. Just give me that confidence to actually put the basketball in the hoop.
So they're doing some work in the portal. You're a guy. You're an example, a story of a guy that came here and really thrived after getting into the transfer portal. What's your message to guys considering Nebraska and maybe transferring here?
Don't be scared to take a risk, man. Don't be scared to take a risk at all. That was one of my biggest fear when I first came in here. Was I'm 20 hours away from home. Like I'm so used to being in the South. I'm so used to going home on a regular basis, but you gotta go somewhere where there's no distraction. You gotta go somewhere where you gotta be uncomfortable to get comfortable. And that's what I did. My first year in Nebraska was not the most joyful thing. Like it was kind of difficult to, figure out how should I move, how should I go about things. But once I settled down, actually looked around, okay, they really love me for who I am. That's where I started feeling home. And my last year and being here for 3 years, I couldn't ask for a better journey at all in Nebraska at all.
All right, last thing, just what's your message to Husker Nation? How thankful are you for the support you've gotten to be able to wear the Husker uniform the last 3 years?
First, I want to say I love Husker Nation. I couldn't ask for a better fan base, a better support system. Y'all bring energy every game, and y'all got a dear spot in my heart. And go be ready.
I love it. Thank you for your time. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Oh, man, I'm going to miss interviewing that guy on a more consistent basis. Obviously, we'll be able to talk to him along the way, and hopefully he's going on to have a great professional career, whatever that might be. But he's just a joy and a light to be around. And I think about this. There was this NIL event we had with our partners, and he got up and spoke and just had the room captivated, but just had everybody rolling in tears when he was talking about what he was looking at Nebraska and didn't even know where it was. And now his family tries to get him to go home to visit, and he doesn't want to leave Nebraska and doesn't want to leave Lincoln. And so he's got a home here for the rest of his life. And just love hearing those kinds of stories, that guys that are not from here, way far away, no family here, but have found new family and a new home. So wish the best of luck to Juwan Gary. I'm so glad, too, that he was able to go out the way that he did at the Crown and with the MVP. And you heard Coach Hoiberg saying it's one of his favorites that he's ever coached. And I think it's safe to say that Juwan's going to be a Husker fan favorite, an all-time Husker fan favorite for this generation, the fan base that got to watch him play the last 3 years. I think years down the road, there's going to be a lot of people that will say one of their favorite Huskers of all time will be Juwan Gary. But appreciate all that he did. And, again, him sticking around and them fighting when they could have said, nah, I'm good. I don't really care to play in this Crown tournament. But they got together and said, no, let's go do it. Let's go win the thing and bring home a trophy. Even if it wasn't the tournament they wanted to be in, they made the most of it. So, again, appreciate Juwan Gary chatting with us. We got to step aside for a break. On the other side of this, we're going to talk some Husker bowling as they head to the NCAA championships and are one of the favorites to potentially bring home another national title. So we're going to talk with Meghan Straub, who was an All-American for Husker bowling. She's with the sports information department, so I hit her up a lot for interviews like wrestling. She's in charge of setting up wrestling interviews. So got a chance to chat with her. And we're going to dive into that, preview that. And if you have any questions, I hope we can answer a lot of those next. So keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Spend your day with Nebraska football at Memorial Stadium on Saturday, April 26th as part of the Husker Games. Cheer on members of the 2025 team, as well as Husker greats of the past, as they put their skills on display in various activities, including skill competitions and 7-on-7 games. The action starts at 2, and tickets are just $10 for adults and $1 for youth aged 8th grade and younger. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Not All Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Not All Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Not All Services. These are the Not All Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
No need to hunt around for friendly service, low prices, quality products, and great experiences. You'll find it all with the local experts, Sapp Brothers Petroleum. If you're tired of tracking down another late delivery, it's time to consider Sapp Brothers, where we pride ourselves on delivering products on time or even ahead of schedule, with your safety our top priority. Switching is easy. Just shoot us an email or give us a call. And right now, when you contact Sapp Brothers for any of your fuel, propane, or lubricant needs, you'll be entered to win a guided pheasant hunt next fall. Visit sappbros.net/Huskers.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and Nebraska bowling heads to the NCAA Women's Bowling Championships starting tomorrow. A program that has expectations every single year to compete for national titles, and they'll get another shot at it, potential winning their 7th national championship coming up this weekend. So we get some questions about it sometimes and wanting to know kind of how it all works and what it looks like for the Huskers. So I thought we'd bring in our resident expert here around the athletics department. Meghan Straub, All-American for Husker Bowling. And you don't know this yet, but we gave you the title, the Huskers Radio Network Bowling Analyst.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm excited for the honor.
Well, thanks for being here. And again, just sometimes have people wanting to know how it works. And so I thought it would be a good refresher for you just to maybe update us a little bit. And this is a team that is going in once again with some expectations to bring home a trophy, right?
Yeah, I mean, every year it's the same expectation, but this year they're good. This year they're favored in my opinion, and if they bowl their best, they should win. But of course, something always happens. Every year there's a story, but I think they can get it done this year.
What is it about this program that allows year in and year out to manage that kind of pressure? It's not easy to have those expectations every year, and I guess it's what you sign up for when you come to Nebraska, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's just a standard, and I think anybody on the team just accepts that, and they work for the goal every year, making it to postseason, making it to the Final Four, making it to the finals, and hopefully winning.
So I said this last week on the air, but I thought it was pretty interesting when I was talking with you. You said that a lot of times the regional is a lot like in basketball, getting to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, and then once you win that, the pressure's off a lot of times when you get to the Final Four. And you kind of compared that a little bit to the regional for bowling, that there's a lot of pressure to get past that round, which the Huskers did over the weekend.
Yes, it's a different setup than it used to be. It used to just be 8 teams into postseason. They would make it into the championship. You were there all at the same location. You lose twice, you go home, similar to this, but here you have 4 teams at 4 different regionals, and you want to get to Vegas. So there's going to be good teams in any regional. You're going to be the best, hopefully, but still everybody's a challenge. So once you make it out of that, then you have really a new tournament with 3 other teams, double elimination, and it could be a completely different setup and a completely different look than what you had at regionals. So
I guess break down how they did over the weekend. Is it something where when you have a good performance, does that carry over? Does it, for a lot of teams, once you get on a roll in the postseason, is it the same for bowling?
Yes and no. I think when you're on a roll in any sport, that's helpful. But just with lanes and bowling centers, every place is different. So Pittsburgh, we did well there. Las Vegas could be a new challenge. We could struggle a little bit more, or we could really do well on the lanes and line up good from the beginning. We didn't lose at regionals, so we stayed in the winner's bracket, which is very helpful. You get to rest in the morning, so you just play 3 matches. We ended up having a tiebreaker in the finals, so there was a little bit more bowling that we had to do, but still nice to be able to stay in the winner's bracket.
So has this team been in this bowling alley before, and where the championship's being held?
I don't believe so. Vegas is a big bowling city, so there's a ton of bowling that happens there. South Point, I believe, was the last place that they bowled there. So this is a new spot, but they're up for anything new. And once you have a practice session, you figure out the lanes pretty quickly and you're good to go.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. How big of what's the adjustment period once you get there to figure it out? And what are you looking for when you're there?
Yes, so you're allowed 6 bowling balls. So in your practice session, you're throwing different things to figure out what looks the best. You're trying different parts of the lane, seeing how the ball reacts, and then you make your decision on what's going to be in your bag starting tomorrow for competition. And like I said, probably 5 to 10 minutes, you figure out what looks good, if you like the lanes or not, if you feel like we got some good breaks here and it's going to be good for us.
So can you once again just maybe break down what the schedule looks like? So it starts tomorrow for the Huskers, right? And just what the overall process is for the Huskers to win a national title.
The ideal path is that you win both matches tomorrow, you have a Saturday morning off, and then you play in the finals on Saturday night. Of course, it doesn't always happen ideally, but that's what the goal is. And each individual match is a mega match. So it's the first team to 2 big points. The first match is 5 games of total pinfall Baker, and then you have 5 individual games. And so if we have the highest pinfall in both of those, that's 2 points for us. But if it's 1 and 1 after those 2, then it's a tiebreaker best 4 of 7 Baker match. And a Baker match is where each girl has 2 frames. So if I'm leading off, I bowl the first and the 6th frame, the next girl bowls the 2nd and the 7th, and then so on. And then your anchor is the best bowler. She's going to throw the most shots. She'll bowl the 5th and the 10th frame. So especially in the best 4 of 7, when you're going head-to-head each game, oftentimes it falls on that anchor to strike if she needs to or fill her frame.
Every score counts, right? For every bowler, like in gymnastics, sometimes you have 5 up or 6 up, 5 count. But every score counts in bowling, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so you had said that this team's really good. Tell us, what is it about this group? Why is this a group that potentially could go win another national title?
Physically, they're good. They have great talent, but also mentally, they can strike when they need to. They can fill frames. At regionals, watching from afar, they looked very calm. And when the pressure was on and somebody needed to do something close to the end of the game, they were able to do that, which I think is a very big deal. Not only Jillian Martin, the anchor, she can strike when she needs to, but anybody else in the team is able to too.
When you're saying strike when they need to, what does that mean?
To me, it means even if you're not lined up, even if you haven't had a great game, the last frame comes down to it, you're able to figure it out and strike. You can just, maybe you have to move your angles a lot tighter and try to make it hook less, but you're just trying to hit the pocket and get as many pins as you can. But you should be able to do that when needed, even if your game hasn't been great leading up to that.
Wow. So when you're in a competition like this, you know what the other team's score is, right?
Yes.
You're paying close attention to that to know what you need to do when you go up there to bowl.
Yes. Yeah, and you can follow it throughout the match. You can keep track of it more easily by marks. You keep track of strikes and spares. Because of the scoring of bowling, it's kind of hard to look at it just with the pinfall number at the bottom of the screen, because strikes count for more, spares obviously are the next ball that counts too. So that's the part that gets kind of confusing with bowling.
So you don't necessarily go up there like, I got to get a strike every time I bowl.
You wouldn't be able to do that. You have to save that for the good moments. Yeah.
Okay, so can you break down just the overall competition for us? Huskers are going in as a favorite, I'm assuming?
Well, we're the second seed overall. I think that we're the favorite, but everybody's good, the Final Four. But yeah, we're going to bowl against Youngstown State first, which we know them well. We've bowled against them a lot. And the fun fact is that of the 4 teams that are there, 3 of the coaches played on the club bowling team here.
Wow.
So Youngstown State's head coach bowled here. And then Jacksonville State, his wife is the head coach, but he's the director of bowling operations, assistant coach. He bowled here too. So it's always fun to be able to see that. And like I said, we know them well. So Jacksonville State is the other team. They're the 1 seed. They're on the other side of the bracket. And then Wichita State's the 4 seed. And they're new to NCAA. They were a big rivalry with us when we were in the club team. So it's good, once again, to compete against them in a different setting.
Wow. So, I wanted to get your perspective on this too. And, with all the changing landscape of the NCAA, and Troy Dannon has been one that it seems like he wants to support all the sports that are here at Nebraska no matter what. What does that mean to you, this athletics department, that, this is one of the winning programs here, that it's going to continue to be an emphasis?
Yeah. No, it means a lot. And I think it's great to have that support. The girls I know really obviously enjoy it, and they feel valued. They enjoy bowling regardless, and they like to be here for a lot of different things. But when you have an athletic department like us, you feel just like everybody else. It doesn't matter what sport you play, you're all treated the same.
Okay, for the Huskers to win and do what they are going up there with the expectations to do, what needs to happen? They need to have keys to match or game like we do with the other sports?
Yeah. Well, I used to have ones for myself, and obviously when I was on the team too, but just staying consistent. And obviously everybody's going to be nervous. That means you try, like you're trying hard because you want to do well and you care about it. So just staying confident and being able to repeat shots. And if you make a mistake and you have an opener, you have an error, just being able to move on from that and know that it's not the end of the world, and we're a successful team, and we'll be able to get it done if we bowl our best.
Awesome. Great stuff. Thank you for the breakdown and the preview. It helps a lot for us to know what to watch for as we go into the NCAA championships this weekend. It's on ESPN, right? On Plus and throughout the weekend?
It's on NCAA.com, and then the finals are, I think, on ESPNU and on ESPN channels.
Okay, great. Yep. Great stuff. Appreciate you being here with us.
Thanks.
Again, Meghan Straub joining us here on Sports Nightly. Akrs, by the way, is an NIL partner with Husker Bowling, which is really cool. So shout out to Akrs, which is our broadcast center sponsor, the Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. We're back to wrap up the show next.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing available across a full lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs. Employee pricing. You pay what we pay. Only from your local Ford dealer.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new great trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Falls City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the 9th inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing available across a full lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs. Employee pricing. You pay what we pay. Only from your local Ford dealer.
Hey Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Welcome back. Final couple minutes left here of Sports Nightly on this Thursday evening for you. It's been a fun show. It's been a jam-packed show. So we are just now getting to talk about some Masters action that started today. And we had a text chain last night, so this is all official. Everybody put their picks in before it started today, and everybody, most are participating. So we all just picked a winner. I know in the past we've had different drafts and stuff, which we will do, but being that we didn't have a show before it started, we just decided to pick a winner and see if anybody's going to get it right. So Duke's joining me. I'll go first. I picked Rory. As much as I did not want to do it, I feel like it's his time. I feel like he is due, and he was at 2 under, but he is even now, right? So still even and tied for 27th, but the leaders at 7 under. Justin Rose 7 under. Duke, who did you pick?
I went with Bryson DeChambeau. He had a nice day today. Went 3 under. You know, I don't watch too much golf. I always watch the Masters, and, you know, you look at the betting odds, they're all pretty high up there. So, you know, you got to go with some random pick. I went Bryson DeChambeau. I'm a big fan of his YouTube channel, actually.
That's made me like him more.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of Bryson, and then I've watched his YouTube as well, and he's more personable. I like he gives people a chance to win stuff, like chip over his house and stuff. Like, he's a lot more personable than maybe what he first appeared to be when he broke onto the scene.
I feel like with golf, you don't really get to see all the players' characters. You know, what ESPN's doing now with the indoor league, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then
hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Your next vehicle is waiting for you at Woodhouse. With over 20 locations and a variety of brands, Woodhouse offers everything from reliable trucks to family-friendly SUVs. Whether you're looking for a Nissan, Mazda, or Infiniti, our team is here to help you find the perfect fit. Enjoy a seamless car buying experience with our expert staff and exceptional service. Visit Woodhouse today, where quality, selection, and customer satisfaction come first. Or get started online at woodhouse.com.
This season, give your soybeans the upgraded protection they deserve. With CVA Elite Fungicide Insecticide Seed Treatment plus Saltro, you'll get stronger above and below ground vigor and enhanced SDS protection, helping you maximize ROI. Talk to your Central Valley Ag Field Sales Agronomist or visit cvacoop.com today. Our planet is hungry. Together,